Hey guys, this is gonna be a short one. I know I haven't done one in a while. Just headed home. I had my deposition the other day, and it went pretty good. But anyway, just wanted to give you a little update, I guess, because I know a lot of shit's still coming out. They're still saying, "Oh, Biden won," when he didn't. He's not the president-elect. They call him that. That's a made-up position. It's not a position in the White House. No states have certified their counts, so there's no winner. And Trump hasn't conceded, so we call presidents president-elect between the election and the time that they're sworn in, when they have an uncontested election and the other party concedes. So don't believe all that bullshit. They're coming out with a lot of evidence now. They don't share a whole lot. Sidney Powell and them, they tell you what they're looking at. I don't know if you guys watched the the press conference yesterday, when they were just kind of outlining what they were looking at and what they had proof of. Okay, they're not going to come out and say, "Look here, this is what I have. Look at this right here, or look at that." They're going to tell you about it, and when they take it to court and have discovery, then they'll provide that information. So they're doing it right. Plus, as soon as they tell the media something, they're going to debunk it or say it's fake, or they're masters at being communists. They make me sick. I'm actually quite sick of it right now. I'm sick of this agenda that they're all pushing. I mean, even, guys, I was watching Fox, and I loved Fox until what they did at election night and after. They're getting worse and worse. So I was like, well, at least I can still watch Tucker Carlson. Well, he what he did to Sidney Powell. I don't know if you guys know, but they sent her an email asking her to come on the show and provide them with some of the evidence of what they were talking about from the press conference. And Sidney Powell sent him an email back and said that she'd rather send someone else that could talk the math better, and also sent them an affidavit, one of the affidavits that they had, so they could look at it. That wasn't good enough for Tucker and Fox, and this is per Sidney Powell. Sidney says that they got another email back and demanding proof, which she doesn't have to show anybody anything. She doesn't have to show the media proof. She doesn't have to show anybody proof except the judge. And she said that he got real rude with her. Rude and condescending in the emails, and she has them to prove it. And so she told Tucker, "You guys, if you're going to act that way, don't contact me anymore," which is the right thing to do. She doesn't need to give Fox any ratings anyway, because if she were to go on Tucker's show, that would be one of their more higher rating shows they've had in a while. So once again, getting backstabbed. So if you guys don't know what you guys are doing, don't stress. Still, don't stress. They're saying Georgia's confirmed their count. No, it's not. Georgia's the same. All they did was recount the same votes. They didn't have any audit. They didn't allow the proper people to look over the ballots. They used different strategies to distract ones and others that actually were there. Or they had one Republican trying to watch 8 people count ballots. Weird shit like that. So it's not recounted. It's the same as it was before, because it wasn't audited. It needs to be audited. And you're still hearing there's no proof of voter fraud, widespread voter fraud. In fact, CNN didn't even show the press release that Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell had when they were talking about the evidence. Whoever the dyke lady was, that I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but whoever the lady was that was the anchor, she said that her words, that she wasn't gonna show it because it was full of BS and lies, and she didn't want to expose her viewers to that. So basically, she's saying her viewers are too stupid, too ignorant to look at something and come up with their own conclusion. So they're just not going to show them. But there is plenty. As you guys know, we had those affidavits. There's a lot more affidavits coming out of people witnessing things. The algorithm that they came across that was switching votes from Trump to Biden, that's what they're going to have to show in court, the proof that it was doing that. That it was deleting Trump votes a lot, and other things. A couple of the things that are kind of strange to me. Mail-in, I don't know if you guys ever mailed in one of your ballots, either a mail-in or absentee. Well, to mail in one of those, there's a bunch of steps you have to do, and if it's not done correctly, exactly like it's supposed to, it gets tossed out. They can't count it. Because it has to follow this. They all have to follow the same rule. So if you didn't sign the outside of it, or you didn't sign the inside of it, but you signed the outside, or you didn't put the security envelope, put it back in a security envelope before you put it in the mailing envelope, just a bunch of different things like that. So the normal acceptance rates, the normal amount of votes in an election, like in 2016, they threw out an average of anywhere between 1% and 3% of the mail-in votes, okay, because of irregularities or they didn't do something right. Now this year, 2020, there was hundreds of thousands of people that's never mailed in one of these in before, never filled it out, never mailed it in. So the acceptance rate the rate that they toss those is around 3% of people that are doing it for the first time. I'm pulling in, so I'm gonna stop right here for a minute in case Dee Dee's sitting under the garage. I don't want to get her on the video. Anyway, so this year, the acceptance rate was, for mail-in ballots, not the acceptance rate, the amount that they threw out went from 1% to 3%. And keep in mind, now they had hundreds of thousands of people that were doing this first time. They only threw out 0.02% of ballots. 0.02. Doesn't sound like a whole lot between those two, but if you take those two numbers, and you multiply them or do the math on the millions of the people that did vote, and you'll see great numbers. Example, in Georgia, I believe last year in 2016, they threw out 6.4%. I believe that's what Dan Bongino said. 6.4% of mail-in votes. This year, they only threw out 0.03%. That's a big difference. And there's other states. They were all the same way. Every state, every swing state, where they looked at the mail-in votes and how many were tossed aside for irregularities or not done right, they were all 0.0 something. None of them were over 1%, which is that's an anomaly. It's not proof that it's fraud, but it's definitely something that you want to look at. Wouldn't you say? How do you take brand new voters, people that for the first time that are doing these. I helped Nancy do one. She did an absentee that she had to call in and have it sent in to her. And it's complex, and you got to fold it right and all that. So, that's interesting. Another thing you guys might want to keep an ear out when they're saying there's no proof of fraud are the sworn affidavits. Two of them in particular, we've got people that swore on an affidavit and will testify in court about these uniform ballots. And what I mean by that is they saw hundreds of thousands of these ballots that came in that were just as pristine and perfect as can be, like nobody's ever handled the ballot before. I'm talking not even in an envelope, so they weren't even folded. All right. Now, how do you get a mail-in ballot to the post office and then to the polls without a crease in it from folding it and sticking it in the mail in the envelope? In fact, you'd need two. None of these were like if you opened a ream of paper to put in your printer like that, and every one of them were the same. There were no creases. They were all filled out the same way, and the little spot that you pick, that you take a pen, a black ballpoint pen, and you color in those little round dots, those were all filled in perfectly, every single one of them. Every single one looked like the printer, like it was printed in from a printer. It was perfect. There was no out of the lines. There was no spaces that were missing. And we have other sworn affidavits that say that most if not all those were for Trump. I mean, were for Biden. Well, they all were for Biden. Another sworn affidavit that they had was that these people witnessed people taking a Trump vote, a mail-in, and calling out Biden's name and throwing it in the Biden stack and not the Trump stack. So, we've got a bunch of this stuff that all has to go to court. But just remember, they don't have to prove jack squat to the press. Nothing. Nobody's entitled to that. We're not entitled to that. Nobody is. When they take it to court, and they go to discovery, then it's going to be, then everybody will know at that point. And I don't see any reason why they should show their hand before then anyway. None whatsoever. They need to drop bombs when they're in court. They'll have no idea what they know and what they don't know of all the different ways that they're stealing this election. So, whether you're a Republican or you're a Democrat or independent or whatever, you should be concerned about this. You should want every ballot counted that's legal. You should want every ballot audited to make sure it's legal. And you should want every illegal ballot thrown out. You want to know the truth on who got elected, whether it's Trump or Biden. You want to know the truth, right? That's what everybody wants to do. Biden and Kamala Harris and the press and the left, they should want that. They should say, okay, go ahead and count it and let me prove to you, and let's prove that we won it. But they're not. They're trying to hurry this process. They want Joe Biden to be called the president. They want to do it. They don't want you to look at anything. They're trying to fight back. They're doing counter lawsuits on the Trump team's lawsuits to get to say, hey, these people didn't get a witness the vote counts that we need. They didn't get it audited or this or that. So they're actually trying to stop the proper count So, I mean, what kind of shit is that? What does that tell you? That should tell you right there. That's crap. Why would you want to stop a fair count? Why would you not want to know the truth? Unless you know the truth goes against you. That's the only reason you'd want to do that. So it's a crock of shit. And they know it's a crock of shit, and they're trying to push this through. And them in the media keep calling Joe Biden president-elect, and he's got a big banner behind him that says Office of the President-elect. There's no such thing. In fact, what the media is doing is undermining our Constitution right now. Seriously undermining our Constitution. I mean, they're doing their damnedest. Even the people that question, like Joe Biden, you know, the so-called just regular people, ask him a question about President Trump's unprecedented attempt to undermine the will of the people by contesting the results of the election that you won. I mean, I heard someone tell him that. If that ain't scripted, I don't know what is. So, you know, nobody's won this. Nobody. All right? It's not won. It's not won until they pick a president, until the states certify their count. And once their count's certified, then they know whoever's in the lead gets that state. If a state can't be certified for whatever reason, absolutely just can't be, because they feel there's too much fraud, there's no way that they could tell who the proper winner is, then that state gets a big X over it and nobody gets the votes. Nobody gets the electoral college votes. Okay? So then they go for, okay, well, if we can't count that state, but all these others are done, then they just say, okay, who's got the most electoral college votes now? And that president is the president. But if they have multiple states that cannot certify this, and that there's too much in doubt, or they come up and they prove that yes, there was fraud, that this was fraud going, this was an illegal election, right? Then the election results are null all over. All right? And then your state legislators pick the president. And right now, it's the state house. And I know that there's more in Democrats in the House than there are Republicans. Not by that much anymore. But only one per state gets to vote. And that person's already pre-picked. And there's, I think Trump has like 38 states are Republican. And per the Constitution, they have to vote whatever party. So if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican and you're from Colorado and you're the person that's chosen for this, then you have to pick Republican. You can't switch. And Trump wins. If they can't work that out and it has to go to the Supreme Court, Trump wins. Hell, I even think if they can prove that there was mass voter fraud, and this is what Sidney Powell's saying that they can do, and Trump saying that they can do, and Rudy, I don't care for Rudy Giuliani much. I don't know. He kind of rubs me the wrong way, but then most New Yorkers do. I don't know if I don't know if it's their accent or what, but anyway, supposedly he's a good dude. I think he was part of 9/11, but we'll find that out later. But if they can prove that these machines were compromised and they were switching votes across the country, then Trump will win by default, because Biden's campaign will be disqualified. So it's not really even an election. They tried, they cheated, they got kicked out. Trump's the winner. So there's a lot of different ways we can go. I know you guys keep saying it's a long shot. No, it's not, guys. They got what they need. They're getting it together, and just be patient. Probably about 6 more weeks or so, maybe less. I'm kind of hoping they throw us a bone around Thanksgiving to make us feel better. And then Christmas, maybe we'll have, before Christmas, maybe we'll have a decision. I don't know, because I know the left's gonna lose their shit when they find out that Trump is the president. I mean, they already call him an illegitimate president from 2016. So they're going to be calling him that again, which I could give a rat's ass what they call him. He's still the president. But there's going to be turmoil. There's going to be chaos in the streets nationwide. From what I understand, I don't know how much truth it is to say nationwide, but I think the major big cities, there's just going to be an absolute street chaos. I don't want to say war, but chaos that the National Guard's going to have to squash. And then, of course, if National Guard squashes it, then they're going to say Trump's a dictator and he's sending the military on the citizens and killing democracy because they're mad because Trump stole the election. I mean, they have all kind of stupid angles, so just kind of let that roll off. Don't worry about it too much, and watch. There's some scary things that happen. I mean, I get nervous, and I know this thing's over and Trump's going to win. I'm 100% confident, but I still hear things, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. Just like the state in, was it Michigan, where there was two of the people that's supposed to certify the count, two Republicans, they said no. There's too much fraud going on. We've seen evidence of too much fraud. We can't certify the count. Well, guess what the left did? They started bullying them. The media, they put these people's names, where they lived, where their kids went to school, on the news. I mean, they were threatening. These people said that they got so many threats on their lives and their kids' lives, and so they flopped and said, okay, we'll certify it now, because they were bullied into it. Well, they went back and said, well, you know what? No, we're not going to certify it. We're going to stand strong. And now the left's like, no. You already said you would. So you can't take it back. I'm like, no, I already said that I wasn't going to do it, and y'all forced me to because you bullied me and my children and my family. I believe one of Trump's attorneys, her house got burnt down. Huh. I mean, this is what these maggots are doing. You know, they've got no problem hurting a child to make sure Trump doesn't get in. So just, y'all stay strong. Keep praying. You know, God's got this, and you know God wins all the time, or always wins. So stay blessed. Stay strong. Y'all ever have any questions, message me. If you have my number, call me or text me. For those that do, you can leave a comment. Share this if you like. I'd like to get it spread around, because eventually my channel's going to grow. Right now it's just me talking. So love all y'all. Where we go one, we go all.